Milling Through History presents The Real Uhtred of the Last Kingdom. The Last Kingdom premiered on BBC America and then moved to Netflix. And in doing so, it is a dramatization of the books written by Bernard Cornwell, in which he looks at the origins of the English nation. The novels themselves are massive successes literary-wise, and when it comes to viewing audiences, there is a very strong fan base who is thrilled to know that another season is coming out. However, when we look at the main character of Uhtred, was there ever really a man such as this? The answer is a little surprising in the fact that yes, Uhtred of Bebbanberg, as seen in the show, is actually a real person, but just a little out of place and time. The story of Uhtred, as seen in the show, begins in a location called Bebbanberg. Bebbanberg is a mighty fortress found in the Kingdom of Northumbria and is well known for being highly defensible and nearly impossible to conquer. The book series takes place between the years of about 865 to approximately 927. It begins where young Uhtred finds himself witness to the arrival of the great heathen army, and his father, also named Uhtred, and his older brother are killed by this army. When this occurs, the young Uhtred finds himself being sold into slavery by his uncle, who expects that the boy will most likely die by the hands of the Norse invaders, in which case Bebbanberg becomes his. Instead, Uhtred discovers that life amongst the Danes or the Norsemen is actually quite appealing, and they like him just as much as he likes them. He is even adopted by his original master, and so he ends up becoming known as Uhtred Ragnarsson. When his Norse family is killed, Uhtred, through a series of events, finds himself in the court of King Alfred of Wessex, and is forced to give his oath to defend Wessex and help bring about the dream of Alfred, that being a united England, which will go ahead and create the basis of what we know today as England. Now, books 1 through 10 will lead Uhtred closer to this dream of Alfred, and also his own personal dream of retaking Bebbanberg. Meanwhile, readers, as they proceed through each book, will watch and witness the events of the reigns of King Alfred the Great, King Edward, and eventually the rise of King Aethelstan, King of the Britons. And while the fictional Uhtred is a rather unique character, and worth not only being able to see on film, but also to be read, the lingering question is, how is this literary character based off of real life? The answer is that he is based on the person known as Uhtred the Bold from Bamberg. Now, Bamberg was originally called Bebbanberg at one time, but it was reverted back to its original name. The first interest of Uhtred actually appearing within a historical record occurred in the year 995, when he helps to clear the land where the Cathedral of Durham was to be built. In the year 1006, Uhtred fought a successful campaign against Malcolm II of Scotland, as the Scots saw an opportunity to invade Northumbria and increase their own presence and interest into what is modern-day England. The successful campaign that was waged by Uhtred endeared him to the crown of England, and as an added bonus, he would become the ealdorman of both Bebbanberg and York, effectively becoming the ruler of all Northumbria. Now, this reign of Uhtred, at least for the English, would be short-lived, as in the year 1013, Sweyn Forkbeard would invade. Now, Uhtred, seeing this invasion of Danes, realized he could not effectively put up a strong enough defense against them. And so, this would begin a period where Uhtred was doing a lot of political maneuvering. He would marry the daughters of rather influential men, and in addition to this, would switch his loyalties, first from the English to the Danes, and then back from the Danes to the English. In the year 1016, though, Uhtred found himself once again having to switch loyalties, as King Canute would arrive, and launching his invasion of England, Uhtred realized that it was better for him to side with the Danes, as he had married a Danish princess. and this would give him more interest in being at least a powerful figure within Canute's court. Now, it is at this point, though, that it seems as if Uhtred may have overplayed his hand, as while he was en route to pay homage to Canute, he and his men were ambushed by Thurbrand the Hold, who had been hired, according to sources, by Canute to kill Uhtred. And while Uhtred's death would be a blow to Northumbria, his sons would avenge their father's death and help to not only overthrow Canute's reign as King of England, but eventually even bring in William the Conqueror, and thus the legacy of Uhtred's family would proceed through the following centuries. And yet, why is it Uhtred is such a popular character? The answer could be is that he certainly strikes a chord amongst many people. Here's a man who takes oaths seriously. He considers his honor a core piece of his own personality. And of course, the adventures are always enjoyable to see and hear, but there's just something unique about this character who sees himself in such a simple light, but is dedicated to a principle that is bigger than himself. And as such, perhaps there is something we could learn from Uhtred of Bebbanberg or even Uhtred of Bamberg. What that is might come down to the individual person. But, regardless of the case, there is a man named Uhtred, and as he is commonly found saying in both the books and the show, destiny is all. For more information, please consider these suggested titles. Be sure to click on the left-hand side of the screen to subscribe to our show, and on the right-hand side for our latest episode. And we will see you again for the next episode of Milling Through History.